I'm recording, so we got it. Oh. Probably have to cut out this first bit of silence while I pull up.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna pee.
Oh, yeah. Hippie-do. I really want to know what you come up with for what his scar looks like across that.
How did you describe when it happened?
I think I said it felt like it was burning, like your flesh was searing. I think that's possibly what I used.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just before we start, I had an idea about this upcoming session.
Okay.
Last session we had a moment that sort of accidentally happened where Alocasia had like an influential moment. We'll call it like an impressionable moment, right? And so I think what I want to do in this coming session is I will ask Ira, because Ira's position is Ira's sort of displaced as well, because you're not from the Fey Realms. But you are in the Feywilds, and Grumple is not from thither. He is from hither.
Good job.
So he is sort of misplaced in the same way that you are. And so I think what's going to happen is during Dragon Chess, whenever we rest, he's going to ask you for advice on like being alone and being displaced. And whatever you tell Grumple, I will try and make a part of his character. Because Grumple's whole character arc is that Grumple goes from being like a naive side character to a leader. Or at least like whatever a banneret is supposed to be.
Okay, I think I have an answer.
Okay, cool. Okay, just putting that out there.
Okay. I'm going to read you the prompt that I sent to him, okay? I said, so, in addition to the information Pierre learned in regards to the true nature of the cult, he knows two things. One, whatever spell Cassius hit Pierre with left an indelible mark across the entirety of his right side, a scar impossible to hide. Two, Pierre and Alocasia ended up in a safe place. Considering all he knows, what does he do? How long does he stay with Alocasia? Does he hide in his newfound safety? Does he plot revenge? Does he seek truth without need for revenge? Does he simply move forward and not look back, too afraid that his past will catch up to him if he tries to investigate? Does he get a new hobby other than burying fish in holes? Yeah.
I thought that was clever.
Yeah, I just...
Okay. All of it?
That's it. That's all of it.
How wounded was Pierre?
I mean, I played it up pretty heavy. I think he was a kid, and like...
More wounded than
regardless
he had
of-
ever been.
His
Probably more wounded than he ever been. He had no scale for it either. Like, if he was off pulling pranks, like burying fish and stuff like that, like he doesn't know those hardships. So any little bit of like damage probably would have like been debilitating.
I think his legs and I want to say his ribs were both broken. And I could be wrong about that. Maybe that's just how I like imagined it.
I do.
He fell off the tree.
You fell out of the tree and it broke your leg, but you had taken a hit and it broke your ribs. And you were pretty fucked up.
You were crawling away.
You were crawling.
I was at low HP too, right? Like it's also factually I was at like 2 HP.
Near death for a child, yeah. So it was. So I guess it's like, how quickly does Pierre recover from that?
Oh, it probably takes a while, which I would assume is probably why Alocasia gets like quickly bonded to him, right? Because like in my brain, and I guess this would depend on Tosh when she gets back, but I do feel like it'd be like safe spot, hideout, nurse back to health, feeling good. Let's go find a place to like kind of settle down where nobody knows us, and we can kind of be chill. No big deal, because she would also start to be, becoming pregnant, and so I reckon that she'd probably need resources as well.
So you're saying escape the cult, settle down in an emergency spot, gather yourselves, find permanent safe space.
Yeah.
Okay,
Then we start
cool,
kind of wandering. I feel like that makes the most sense. Like in my brain, I think it would definitely depend on what Tosh wants to do.
And what she wants to reveal.
Yeah, and what she wants to reveal. I do think that when it comes to the scar, I think it's like maybe it's like a bare spot in his fur where it hits his ribs, where he's like it broke a bunch of ribs and stuff. It's like so.
When I say the entirety of his right side, it is the entirety, like his whole right side.
So the part where it hits, I just want it to be like a bare fur, kind of gross, like just skin.
Like Zuko.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Oh shit.
That initial spot. And then the rest, I want it to be like a super ugly, awkward, like the same way that you get sunburn, and it's like there's random angles, and it's kind of just looks like awkward, and you're like, what was in the way where you got sunburned? It's like my whole right side is basically just like bleached. So my fur is like white and looser and like thinner and like bleached, and then it has that center kind of like burn that's like furless. I think would make sense.
Okay.
Because I like the idea of it just being like ugly, like
What?
not cool scar, ugly, gross. Like I've dealt with like that. Fuck me up, shit.
What's the color of his fur on his non-scar side?
I think we'll call it a light red brown.
Light red, brown.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel that makes sense.
Okay. Cool. Does he have like a copperish skin tone? I don't know. You said light red and copper came to mind.
Yeah. I'm cool with that.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
When it comes to what he does revenge-wise, I think it depends on what happens to the cult. So, does it continue to become a thing? Or is it...
when he runs away, unless he investigates, he doesn't know.
Oh, because it travels.
Because they left, they ran.
I would think when this happened, Pierre was like really young, right? Like 6, I think, or something like that.
You're like 8?
Is it
No,
okay
I
if I
think you're
turn
like
this light on?
8.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
My gut thinking is that even if Pierre swears revenge, a kid doesn't want to immediately experience that again or like risk experiencing that. I feel like you do the Simba thing and like leave, but like maybe come back at some point.
Yeah, I think the same. Like, I think internally, he's like, I'm just fucked up. Like, I have to cover, I have nothing, I have this, like, I have Alocasia who's like my mother, but my mother's actually dead. So,
But
like,
she's not your mother.
she's filling in the gap, and, like, I'll take that for all it's worth. Like, he doesn't, I mean, he's not going to say it that way, but that's what he's going to do. To the point where eventually he understands that it's like a,
We're not videotaping.
Ah.
You can...
Are you recording? You're recording.
Yeah, we're recording.
Okay.
Did Alocasia actually kill Pierre's parents, or was she just involved in like setting it up?
The cult leader did.
The cult leader did it directly. She witnessed it happen.
Yeah.
So,
So we're talking about what happens after we get out.
I basically, I want to tell her what I told you just so that she knows what base information we're starting with. Basically, I just said, the two of you end up in a safe place.
Sure.
That's all I said.
Okay.
And then I said, how does Pierre react? What happens in the years that follows, knowing only that he is in a safe place?
Yeah.
So that's what we're going through right now.
So I was saying initially, I think we find emergency base of operations because I'm fucked up, so I have to heal up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your
so
leg.
I think it would make the most sense if we did that first. But then after that, you're starting to grow a belly, and you probably know that. You know? Because I would assume that it takes long enough for me to heal that you start to kind of like piece two and two together.
Yeah. Well, then I know who I would turn to. Who Alocasia would turn to.
Who would allocation turn
Her sister.
to? Oh, okay. And what does that mean for Pierre? Like, so we go
Well,
from.
he's gonna get healed, I
healing up-
guess.
Yeah,
He's definitely gonna get healed.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then we
She's
go
more
to
like
your.
the artificer, like study against studious, more dependable, like the opposite of Alocasia.
Gotcha.
She doesn't move. Like Alocasia is nomadic. Like she doesn't move. She stays in the same place. Everything's in the same spot. And like her routine is like routine. Like she just I don't know. So.
What
she
would
find a place.
Alocasia do with Pierre after, like, Pierre's healed up, and then Alocasia and Pierre go to her sister, and then what after that?
I don't know what would Pierre do. I mean, like once he's healed, he's free to leave.
Can I throw out some ideas here?
He's free to leave.
It's all.
So like, what would he do?
So, you've just experienced a trauma. You don't want to go revisit that trauma right away.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking you mentioned in this one shot he built this little crossbow thing, right?
What?
You said he built this little crossbow thing?
Oh, he built a little, like, yeah, he built a little.
Yeah, he built this little crossbow thing. He was like a little
Short
tinker.
bow.
Ooh,
Nice.
he was like a little tinker.
Yeah.
And I imagine he would get along with her sister really well because she is also a tinkerer sort of kind
Okay.
of person. Just throwing out options here. There's another one I'm trying to remember. I don't remember.
Probably all books, yeah, again. I think that trope, you know, book smart, studious, knows facts, like quirky, unique in that sense.
So, would you want to keep Pierre around, or are you gonna drop him off at the sister spot and just bounce
At the where?
at your sister spot?
Oh. No, I
Because-
think she would stay for a little bit because if she's pregnant, then she needs to like nest, you know,
Mhm.
like.
Okay, so we're living the
Yeah.
fucking sitcom life for a while, and Pierre has to.
Yes,
work.
this is fucking
Yes.
filler. Like,
Yeah, this is a slice of life situation.
Yeah. exactly. Before shit gets bad.
If that's the case, then I mean, I would assume you would stay there for the young years of Clementine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pierre gets unrestful for a while, because first of all, he gets all the attention, and then the baby's starting to come, and then the baby starts getting all the attention, and Pierre's kind of left to the side, and then he starts thinking about how he doesn't have parents, and like as much as Alocasia's been a great mother, and as much as like Alocasia's sister's been a good like parental
Auntie.
figure, like it's not real,
Mhm.
and he lets that fester up in him a bunch, and then he leaves just one day. He just like bounces because he's like, I don't have a home. This isn't really my home. Like this is somebody else's home, and
ACT years.
I got nothing. Yeah. I feel like that makes sense because then like not only is it like him dealing with his own shit, but it's also kind of foreshadowing like you. I don't know how you if you give a shit about Pierre or not, but you lose him as that like predecessor, like a kind of a child figure, and then eventually you lose Clementine also.
I think she would care but would understand the need to again be free and roam and find yourself to find
Okay.
answers. So more of a supportive, I hope you make it and I hope you come back, you know.
Okay. Yeah, and then he kind of just like, because he has no home, like I said, and he has no path and direction because he's just like, everything that I knew wasn't real, and then I have these parents who aren't really my parents because my parents are dead, and like, I don't know what I am, and they need to do their own stuff with their own life. I need to be lost and do bad things.
Do bad things.
Be a scamp.
Yeah, well, because he was from the beginning as a kid, and once he doesn't have any
He
direction,
continues his rogue stuff, being
Yeah.
sneaky and
being sneaky and fucking pranking people, probably stealing people.
So
shit
would
from
you
people.
move to a city then to exploit more people?
there's space cities.
What?
There's space cities. around.
Exactly. Like, would you stick to the wild or like go to the city?
I mean, I think he knows how to be a nomad, so it'd be like, let's bounce from city to city, stick up for a while, you know, case out a joint, rob it, bounce, and then like make sure he leaves nothing of a trace so that he can come back later and like hit it again. You know what I mean? So he just kind of bounces around from spot to spot, making like bad connections. So like he gets that rogue feature of like he knows someone in every place. You know, like he got the hookup everywhere. I feel like that would make sense.
There's an actual background.
Interesting.
See that? I think criminal background.
It's
or
the
something?
criminal background,
I can see
yeah.
that
So he
being-
becomes a criminal. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe not in a bad way, but like in the legal way.
I don't know if he would give a shit about the call. Can't find him.
It's all a matter of perspective, really. What's a criminal, really?
I think I'm okay with that, unless you have any other hot ideas.
No, that is perfect.
I feel like it's good.
Yeah. That's
The
a great little wrap up.
Slayer, Seder to Slayer.
Seder to
Slayer,
Slayer.
Seder.
He definitely is.
Seder,
He's
Slayer.
what is it? He's Hellboyed his horns.
Hellboyed his horn. What does that mean?
One's missing.
No, Hellboy
It's like filed.
files his horns down,
Oh.
so they're like nubs on his head instead of like full on horns. Like yeah, he's filed that shit down.
Oh,
Trying
I
to
feel
keep
like
a
that.
low profile.
Ooh, I couldn't imagine doing that by horns. I think I would keep mine.
Oh, also the scar, the permanent scar that he has because of the hit that he took, is like a Zuko gash in his side where it
Okay.
hit, and then half of his body is just like it looks like an ugly sunburn basically, but his fur is just bleached and like randomly colored in some places where it like yeah, it's just an ugly sunburn. Doesn't look pretty, doesn't look cool, just gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like really bad eczema or something.
Yeah. And the hairs are a little thinner on that side and a little bit like weaker and shit.
Cool. I wanted to know where he ended up, and that kind of answers.
I feel like that makes sense.
Answers that.
Pierre the Rogue.
Yes.
Poor guy. He had a
It's a
bit
classic-
bit of a rough go.
Classic TV story.
Classic.
Orphaned rogue, out there on the streets.
Yeah.
That is a very classic team.
Yeah, he's not the main character. He's a supporting cast. He doesn't need to be complicated.
What kind you are?
A little caffeine. Are they both caffeine?
This one is yours, and I believe it is.
Oh,
This one, I think it does have yes, caffeine. We'll start with this one.